Hi there viewers, I'm the Extraordinary Tourist, and it has been a long time since I've made a video like this for my TET Animations channel. It's a channel that I've pretty much neglected quite a bit. I only post to it every now and then when I make an animation, which is not very often these days. But anyway, this is going to be a bit of a just sit down and chat and talk about the channel. This video could be a long one, probably will be, but I hope you'll sort of persevere and get through it and find something interesting in what I'm going to talk about. And with that in mind, feel free to use the comments below for those of you that are still watching. Quite frankly, it surprises me that this channel gets so many views on its videos and is constantly gaining new subscribers when I'm hardly even around most of the time and barely producing content. But having said that, this is a channel that I'd really like to get started again and maybe produce a more consistent amount of content, more useful content, not just posting sort of my animations whenever I get round to making them. I'd actually like to hear a bit about what those of you that subscribe to the channel would like to see me do, especially some of the new subscribers who, for whatever reason, well, pretty much all of the people that subscribe to this channel, even recently, are people who have been using GoAnimate, and not even the new Beyond version of GoAnimate, but the old GoAnimate version with all the old themes, which is where a lot of you will possibly know me from if you were actually using the site when it was known as GoAnimate. For those of you that don't know me, I was one of the top animators on that site. I think I made it to about the third most viewed or most subscribed, one of the two, on the whole site, and that's why this channel has a lot of GoAnimate animations on it, because originally I started the channel as a place to archive my animations from GoAnimate. But that's also why I'm surprised as to why people from GoAnimate still subscribe to this channel when I haven't actually made anything using the old GoAnimate in years. I think I stopped making anything with GoAnimate somewhere around 2012, 2013 maybe. Might even be earlier than that. I'm not sure how long ago it was. Which is not to say that I stopped using GoAnimate. I'm actually one of the people that a lot of you GoAnimate hobbyists shouldn't actually like, because I embraced the whole GoAnimate for business direction that they pivoted into, and I stopped making sort of GoAnimate animations for fun and started making them to earn money. And that is in fact what I've been doing for the last maybe 7 or 8 years, getting paid to make GoAnimations and then Beyond Animations when they changed their name. I actually ran a successful business for that called Animation for Business. But getting back to it, GoAnimate, I know a lot of you are still using the old GoAnimate. I have been told how you managed to do that, but I've never really been interested to sort of follow up and work it out for myself. But as far as I know, by the end of this year into next year, you probably won't even be able to use old GoAnimate anymore, potentially. Simply because the Flash based studio is going to probably stop working once Adobe pretty much cans Flash altogether. Anyway, what should we get into? I'm going to get back onto here, go back to here, and we're going to, whilst I'm talking, maybe I'll show you something that I'm working on now, which is this. Isn't this the ugliest looking character you've ever seen? This is a 3D character that I'm creating using Reallusion's Character Creator 3. Just to show you what I'm trying to do is create this character here in 3D. And Character Creator 3 is not really meant to be a sculpting tool. It's more of like a character generator for those of you who use GoAnimate's character makers. It's a bit like that, where you just create characters from predefined clothes and accessories, and you can sort of do modifications to the face and whatever. It's pretty good. You can do like everything from realistic humans to Pixar-like characters with it. And this is sort of my base model for trying to create this character. You see I've got him wearing a cap here, whereas in this picture he's got a beanie on, but normally I draw him wearing a cap. But this particular version of the character I based on this drawing here that I've got on my desktop of the character. So if I get rid of my picture here for a second, there you go. That's the drawing that I based this one on. So that's what I've been working on. And I thought I'd tinker around with this while we're having a bit of a chat about the future of this channel. And I'm going to take my face off the screen here so that it makes it a lot easier to sort of edit out any of the really boring bits if I get super quiet or whatever, because I'm getting so engrossed in just doing this. But generally, I hope you find it interesting watching what I'm going to do here. The plan is to maybe do a few more adjustments to this face, because you can see it's sort of a bit angular here where it should be more round, and these ears should be a bit more elf ear like, perhaps bit pointier, and I might try and get this sort of rounded bottom bit that it has. And then I want to start changing the skin textures so it looks more like this character and less sort of ugly like this. I'll just quickly show you where this character started out. It's actually a model of a boy character, if I can find it. There we go, that's what the character's body and face looked like originally. You can see that hat's not sort of fitting properly because I actually sort of changed the orientation of it, and so it doesn't sit on the head quite as well as it used to. Normally it faces forward and would be fitting perfectly, but that's where I started. You can see I really distorted that face quite a bit to get my character here, who's known as the Cage Monster, by the way. He's a former mascot of a skate park that I used to help run. So that's the actual character that I started with. Undo it, get back to what I had before. There you go, and isn't that just the ugliest looking thing out there? But hopefully once I get the textures on there and the colouring, it'll look more like this guy and a lot less grotesque looking than that. And I'm just going to play around with this. I'm going to take my face off screen so it makes it easier for me to edit out all the long pauses and make this video shorter, because it's probably going to be long as it is. Yeah, let's sort of talk about what I can do with this channel. So here we go, turn me off. Okay, so I guess when it comes to the channel, and I still want this to be very much an animation channel, and I still want to post my own animations. I'm not actually making animations with Beyond for Business anymore. I've sort of wound that business up now. I've been doing it for almost 10 years and I decided I've sort of had enough and want to get back to doing my own animations a lot more. So that's what I'm planning on doing. But in terms of this channel, I want to get more useful content on it for you, the viewers. Hopefully maybe develop a bit of a community around the channel. And just generally try and create that sort of community that I used to have around my work back in the old, when I was actually doing animations on GoAnimate. And I'm very much into being an independent animator. It means sort of making the animations I want to make and hopefully earning a bit of money through making them as well. Whether that be through ad revenue on YouTube, if this channel ever gets to that stage, or sponsorships or whatever. I need to earn a living, so because this is all I do to earn money. At the same time, I want to make this channel interesting and useful for you guys. And my thoughts are, if a lot of you are still using GoAnimate and possibly looking for alternatives, given that the old GoAnimate is getting harder and harder to keep using, I thought maybe we could go through and look at alternatives on this channel, look at the pros and cons of various things, seeing what's out there. There is actually quite a lot of free software out there that you could use to make 2D animations with. I was thinking maybe I could do a series on some of the free software out there and maybe get into showing you how you could adapt some of that, and maybe for those of you that are using GoAnimate because you're not especially good at drawing your own characters, how you could take your GoAnimate characters and animate them in something else that would give you a bit more flexibility with them. In the same way, back in the GoAnimate days, I used to create custom versions of my GoAnimate characters using Cool Moves. And Cool Moves is a program actually that's still around. You can still buy it, so we could perhaps look into that as an option for creating animation with and see what that's like. Well, I must admit I'm very rusty with Cool Moves now, but it's something I want to get back into. Yeah, we could look at Cool Moves, doing some stuff with that, or we could look at some of the paid software out there that's a little cheaper than some of the full-on professional software. A lot of you, if you are watching this channel, probably know that I use Cartoon Animator 4, which used to be Crazy Talk Animator 3 for my own 2D animations. You can actually buy that quite cheaply if you don't want the full version. There's cheaper versions of it that you can still do quite a lot with, but the full version is pretty good too and still pretty affordable. So we could look at that a lot more. And we could also look at sort of 3D software like this. I also use Reallusion's iClone, which is what this is a companion program to. This Character Creator 3 is a companion to iClone 7 for making characters for that environment. If you're interested, I could do some stuff on that. Okay, I'm going to leave that there now. Obviously I've got a lot of work to do on this to get this character looking the same as my cartoon version here, but I think I'm getting there. Like, this is my very first try at doing a character like this, where the head is completely morphed from being a human into something totally non-human. And obviously there's a bit of work to go on with the face there. If I bring the face up close, you can see probably the mouth needs to go down a bit lower on his face. And I've obviously got to work on these textures more, because you can see that this is going completely off the ear onto the back of his head, but it's very hit and miss as to where these things are going to wrap around, so it's sort of just a bit of trial and error there. And then I've got to work on the textures to get rid of these bump maps here, where the original character's eyebrows were. So I obviously don't want those. And I'm going to do something about this hair as well, so I can have maybe something closer to this rather than that. But anyway, I hope you found it interesting watching me sort of tinker around in Character Creator 3 by Reallusion. If that's something you're interested in, I'll put a link to it in the description. But yeah, I'm going to end this video here. Let me know in the comments what you'd like to see me do in this channel. What sort of... I don't particularly want to get too much into detailed tutorials, but I will do like maybe overviews of how to do things, or look at different applications that you might want to see or learn how to use, and sort of learn them together. I'm not a master of any application in particular. I'm very good perhaps with Character Creator 3 in a limited way. I'm reasonably good with iClone 7, and I'm fairly okay with Cartoon Animator 4. If you want to see more of my work in those particular applications. And then of course there's all the free software that we could look at as well. In this video you saw me doing the textures for his face using Krita, which is kind of a Photoshop replacement application that's completely free and works on Windows and Mac. And Krita has also started to expand on adding animation tools for hand-drawn animation, so we could look at that as well. But there we go. I hope you found this video interesting, and as I said, let me know in the comments what you want to do, kinds of things you want me to look at, and if you want to sort of look at alternative software to Go Animate, since a lot of you are fans of the old Go Animate that are in my subscriber base, we'll explore that option too. So yeah, hopefully I can get a few more videos happening on this channel, try and get back to a weekly schedule. So I'll leave it there till next time. Bye for now.